Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Reading the book authored by Param Guruji, Swami Tejomayananda. Transformation Technology. In short about the book, change is the changeless law of nature. Any change that is intelligent and deliberate is called transformation. Real transformation is a blessing for the individual and for society at large. Param Guruji, Swami Tejomayananda says, technique for bringing about a metamorphosis in the human personality is simple yet practical for transformation towards perfection. Among other things, we must take care of the literature we read, the company we keep, the value of time, and the power of thought. Transformation technology. IT or information technology holds a great fascination for people. A wealth of information is available on internet, but we cannot be sure of its authenticity. We can also do not know what to do with all this information which comes through or is available on the new communication channels of email, fax, and cell phone. These instruments of gaining information or communication are wonderful, but what do we communicate through them? A lot of what comes through emails or SMS is called junk mail, and the same jokes keep doing the rounds. We find that despite all these sophisticated channels for communication, the communication gap remains. Ultimately, this means that we have not changed. Transformation means change. We are constantly striving for change and trying to bring about change. But when we attempt to change, we realize that change is the changeless law of nature. Continuous changes are taking place at all levels: the natural level, the physical level, and the level of weather. What then is the any change that is intelligent and deliberate is called transformation. For certain things like growing old, no special effort is needed. It happens on its own. But to grow old gracefully, we require a great deal of thinking. Change through deliberate and intelligent thinking. In the animal kingdom, we find that spiders make no change in the webs they weave. Honeybees make no change in the beehives, and sparrows do not change the design of the nests they build. But human beings make a variety of houses. They even use fashion designers and interior decorators for designing their clothes and houses. Fashion is constantly changing. When we say that transformation is effected through deliberate and intelligent thinking, there is a problem, because then we can become deliberately destructive and also discover intelligent ways of cheating. The sensational scams we read about are not born out of the brains of the illiterate. There is a joke about a gunman who went to rob the bank. The bank clerk at the counter said to him, "Why are you holding a gun?" Why don't you start a bank? Such conversation is both interesting and distressing because it shows us the present state of affairs. Speaking about a book entitled India is for sale, someone quipped, India is not for sale, it is already sold. We all know how why that we are using our intelligence for such things. Here we are not thinking about destructive information. We are more concerned about that transformation. Here we are not thinking about destructive transformation. We are more concerned about that transformation which will be a blessing for us, for humanity at large, and all beings, including the plants and animals. This would be real transformation. Why do we need this transformation? Even a dull witted person knows that there has to be a purpose behind every action. We do not have to look far. Very simply, we are not very satisfied with our lives the way they are. We do not have to look at the world or the nation. We can start with our own lives. Despite this, it is surprising that people are quite content to live their lives in the same old groove without making any change. There is a saying, a happy slave is the worst enemy of freedom. People sometimes enjoy slavery as well. There have been instances where slum dwellers have been given houses to live in. Instead of being happy, they sold the doors and windows and returned to their original state. Some prisoners feel more secure in jail than in the outside world. It is difficult to understand in what condition people will find happiness. I also found to my dismay that it is not easy to change people. Many years ago, a lady came to me with her problems. She wanted to know how one could become happy. Being young and enthusiastic, I spoke to her at great length and was pleased when she nodded her head, seemingly in agreement with me. At the end of my lecture, just when I thought I had managed to change one person, she smiled and said, This is all nice for you to say. Only if you were in my place, you would have understood. After that, I learned to merely sympathize and not waste my breath. People are very happy when one shows concern. They are not really interested in the cure. People with health problems are happy to take pills and injections, but they do not want to control their intake. They do not like being told that there are other means by which they can cure themselves. The same applies in the spiritual level. People want to know what they should do, but they do not want to follow the advice. I told one insistent gentleman what he should do. A few days later, I inquired about his progress, and he said that though I had told him to get up at 5 o'clock, I had not woken him up. We are unable to change either at the outer or the inner level because we are not serious. Transformation will only come when we are disgusted with our present state, whether it is outer or inner. Cleanliness of the environment or our physical purity will happen only if it bothers us. Even today, there are people who feel that it was better to live as British subjects. People who do not appreciate the concept of freedom are happy to be slaves. Political, physical, or spiritual progress is possible only when we are revolted by our situation and are conceived that we should change and are convinced that we should change. Deliberate change will come only when we say enough is enough. Inner and outer transformation is related. We must become aware of the need for change and then go about making our life more meaningful and purposeful. Only if transformation is wanted for total fulfillment will it have the desired results. We must have the feeling that we deserve the best and there should be no compromise in getting it. We are not living at the highest heights that we can scale. Having understood the need for change, we must then entertain the desire for change. This sankalpa or the first desire for change is referred to as Shubhecha in Yoga Vasishtha. The will to change is the first step on the path of inner transformation. Though there are many changes in the outer world, we lack the total sense of contentment and fulfillment within. There is this story of the little boy who was naughty and troublesome, both at school and at home. One day, his mother wanted a little peace and quiet and decided to leave the child with his father for the morning. The father knew his holiday was ruined till he hit upon a plan. He called the child and showed him a map of the world, which he then tore into small pieces. He then told him to put the pieces together and fix the globe. While he retired to his interrupted reading of the newspaper, in just a very short while, the child was back with the pieces of the world map in place. The child had made no mistake. It was perfectly finished and asked him how he had done it so quickly. The child turned the map over and revealed the picture of a man. He had only fixed the man and the world had fallen into place. Vedanta says that we are always trying to get the outer world in order so that we may gain happiness. But it is an attempt in futility because the minute we get one thing in order, the other thing needs attention. Vedanta says that you and the world are two sides of the same coin. If you change, then the world will also follow. As individuals, we are all disintegrated within, and unless we are able to integrate our inner selves, there may be a quantitative change but not a qualitative change in our outer lives. A lot of changes we make have only cosmetic value. When we give a facelift to the building or the face, it means that we change the exterior without touching the interiors. We want superficial changes which cannot last for long. In this context, if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. In spite of the superficial changes, we have not made any inner changes and continue on the same path. So, we are bound to get what we have always got. For example, if we want to lose weight but continue to eat fatty food, no amount of health club workouts will help. Having understood the need for change and obstacle on the path, we have to become aware of what we live each day of our life. One day is one unit of our life. A person may have lived 80 years, but he can have only lived one day at a time. There are some days when we are completely overwhelmed and feel like the man who said, I want to live one day at a time, but some days, several days attack me at once. We want change, but we live the one day and we have in the same way and postpone the change for the next day. We make plans to do wonderful things tomorrow. One day is a unit, but if you take things even more seriously, then you will know that you can live only one moment at a time. Ask someone what they remember of their lives. They would point to some moments, shocking, joyous, or turning moments in their lives. We do not remember days, months, or years, only moments. Finally, we arrive at how we must live a moment. In life, there are many instances that we regret. We know sometimes we have missed the opportunity to change the situation. When our parents are alive, we do nothing to show our love, but when they die, we place garlands on their body and feel regret at having not done what we should have. All this happens because there is no vision of life. Change or transformation comes only when vision is backed by action. How can we change the vision? For this transformation to happen, we must have a positive scheme to follow. A shloka from the Srimad Bhagavatam charts out a route we can take in order to bring about this change in our lives. It lists 10 factors that we must take care of. आगमोपः प्रजादेशः कालः कर्म च जन्म च ज्ञानं मन्त्रोऽथ संस्कारो दशैते गुणहेतवः. Agama is the scriptures, apa or waters, praja people or company, desha country or place, kala or time, karma or action, janma or birth, dhanam or meditation, mantra or words of inspiration, and samskara means your inclinations. These words are spoken to Uddhava in the Uddhava Gita portion of the Bhagavatam. On closer examination, we find that these are the 10 factors responsible for the quality of our mind. Into 3 different types: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. First, Agama or literature. Agama literally means scriptures but refers to all literature or reading material. It includes all kinds of thoughts that we are receiving through various channels. We find that people read different literature and gather thoughts. which in turn influence their mind. This has a powerful effect on our thinking. There was a time when I was reading atheistic literature and found that I started voicing similar thoughts. Literature here includes not just the written word but the spoken word as well. That is why the media is so powerful and actually governs our thoughts. Literature, which inspires us to lead a noble life of sacrifice, service, devotion, and dedication, is inspiring. This is Sattvic literature. Another type of literature fans our extrovert nature and produces more ambitions in the mind. This is this in turn propels us to lead a more self-centered, power-seeking life of ambition and pleasure and is Rajasi. The last kind of literature is vulgar, degrading to human nature, leading to criminal thoughts and destroying all noble traits. This is tamasic in nature. It is better to be careful of what we are reading, hearing, or watching. If your little son uses a banned word, you immediately react, but it is better to remember that what is bad for a child is bad for the adult as well. It is equally bad for either an 80-year-old or a 20-year-old. Said, may noble thoughts come to us from all directions. It may not always be possible for us to only receive such thoughts, but we must have the discrimination to know what to keep and what to reject. This is important because what we receive and imbibe in turn determines our philosophy or vision. 2. Upper or water. The second point we have to be wary of is water. By water, we do not mean distillery water. Water here refers to all the food and drinks that we consume. It is sad that people nowadays want to drink aerated drinks in preference to water, even though they know their ill effects. The last in the category of drinks is hard liquor, which even changes the quality of thoughts and affects the texture of the mind. Isn't it funny to strange that people drink to each other's health while spoiling their own? People who like drinking only need an excuse to drink. They drink on a joyous occasion, they also drink to drown their sorrow. Water is food as well. In nature, it is found in living foods like fruits, vegetables, sprouts, and nuts. Unfortunately, such food is like art movies, which are praised by all and seen by none. This category of food is sattvic. It is constantly praised but seldom eaten. The second category is Rajasic food, which includes all the fast foods, the chili, hot, and spicy food. Finally, we have the Tamasic variety, where you make your stomach a graveyard by eating dead animals. You can give them fancy names like hot dog and omelette, but it is only some animal killed and swallowed. The effect on the physical body is easy to see. Such food, instead of giving energy, gives only lethargy, leading to blocked arteries and emergency operations. There are ways to prevent such occurrences, but we hardly ever ask how can we bypass surgery. There is food for thought and thought for food. Praja or company. The third point we need to guard against is praja or company. A person is influenced by and also known by the company he keeps. People find it very easy to blame all their ills on their company. So, when someone complains that he fell into bad ways because of the company, it would be relevant to ask how come the bad person did not become good in your good company. Actually, all this shows is that the person was potentially bad and so the bad company had an immediate effect. If we associate with the mafia, then we will end up in smuggling and similar activities. In the company of power and money hungry individuals and ambitious people, our minds will also become the same. In the company of people of noble thoughts, we will know where we stand. Even if we do not immediately become like them, we will know where we have to go. Company is very important. Some people claim they are social drinkers and use the excuse of business to justify their drinking habit. There is a way to get around this as well. You can always hold a glass without drinking. In this way, you can socialize and yet not be drinking. We must remember that we all have to live our own lives. No one can share our misery when we are ill. There was a Mahatma who, when pressed by eager hosts to eat, used to say, "You have a right on my time, but not on my stomach." So, even if you are soft, you can be firm. For desha or place. The next thing to consider is desha or place. The place where you live will affect your mind. Sometimes, if you have to make an overnight halt in a new place, we inquire about the hotel accommodation for fear of ending up in a wrong area. When we go to hospital, even if we are not sick, we end up feeling unwell. Though some tamasic meditations are performed in cremation grounds, the atmosphere is normally not considered conducive for such an activity. The atmosphere in a nightclub is different and rajasic in nature. The feelings that a clean and sattvic ashram evoke are elevating. We often hear people speak about the vibrations of the place, so we must take care of the places we live in or visit. 5. Kal or time. In the same way, the time of day is important. Mornings are calm and peaceful, and even tamasic people are affected by their beauty and serenity. It is a good and contemplative time of the day. The middle of the day is given to hectic activity. The night is meant for rest and sleep. We find that the time takes on these moods as well. If we have the right vision, then we will make use of these times in the correct manner. In the morning, we should do our contemplation. Action after meditation will ensure that our deeds are also contemplative. Then, even sleep is also of three types: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sleep, which is sound and refreshing, is sattvic. The sleep of a person who dreams a lot or wakes up demanding tea or coffee is Rajasic because for such a person the day begins with action. In Tamasic sleep, the person wakes up and immediately goes back to sleep. This also shows us that time management is very important and we must try to understand the quality of time. Karma or action, this is sixth. Karma can again be classified as sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. People who harm others to achieve their own goals or even trouble others without any reason are called Vigna Santoshi. They enjoy creating trouble and are called troublemakers. Such people provide work for the troubleshooters of the world. There is the case of the habituated thief who came up before the judge. Yet again, the judge asked him whether he had ever done anything good in his life. The man replied that he was providing employment for the police force. Criminal activities is tamasic. Self centered activity is rajasic. And when you work or serve for the welfare of others, it is sattvic. 7. Janma or birth. Janma is birth. Some people are responsible for the particular family or place they are born into. But if you accept the theory of rebirth, then we must accept that we are responsible for our present birth as well. For the moment, let us accept the fact that the person has no control over birth. But what are we doing with ourselves after that? Birth is nothing but identification with a thought. When we identify with anger, an angry man is born. When the anger goes away, then there is a peaceful man. While discussing, people are people often say, we often say, uh, while discussing people, we often say, when he is in his senses, he is a good man. But when he drinks, something happens to him. 8. Dhyanam or meditation. Dhyanam is meditation. We must remember that as we think, so we become. Agama or literature exposes us to a variety of thoughts, but our life turns towards the thoughts we choose to take hold on to or meditate on. Meditation is the consistent holding into or pursuit of one kind of thought. This is term this in turn will determine the kind of person that I become. If a person wants to become a doctor or engineer, then he or she would have to pursue a particular line of thinking to achieve the goal. Even murders are premeditated. There is a relationship between literature and meditation. The former influences the latter. We take to various professions in life, but the kind of person I want to become is another matter. The values that I hold on to will depend on the kind of meditation that I do. There are three kinds of meditation as well: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. It is up to me whether I want to become a man of values, valuables, or laziness. I saw a book entitled Meditations for Those Who Do Next to Nothing and Would Like to Do Still Less. This is a glorification of laziness. 9. Mantra or words of inspiration. We may have decided on a course of action, but many difficulties can crop up on the way. At such moments, we need some inspiration, words, inspiring words, or guidance, which we can hold on to. A mantra is required to tide us over these times. To keep the mind from wandering, we take the help of a mantra by repeating Om Namah Shivaya. We can help bring the distracted mind under control. In times of stress, it helps to remember something like this too shall pass. This also becomes a mantra. If I keep repeating that God is with me, I get the feeling of not being alone and I am inspired to face the problems of life. The political circles also, in political circles also, people look for slogans. Mahatma Gandhi gave the Indians of enslaved India a very powerful slogan. He said, Quit India. And this became a moment. The commercial world needs a catchy phrase for advertising like we may have a goal, but to enable us to reach that, we have to keep ourselves inspired. The words we use for this purpose are in spiritual life called mantras. 10. Sanskaras or inherent tendencies. Sanskar are the inherent tendencies that we have brought with us from our past. We are the products of our past, but we are not the victims of our past. We may have an upset stomach due to overeating, but it does not mean that we can do nothing to remedy the situation. We do not in any way have to accept it with a feeling that we can do nothing to improve it. We can change our sanskar from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic. These 10 factors will help us in our goal of transformation. If we analyze our life, we will find that of these 10 factors, some are sattvic, others rajasic, and yet others tamasic. In each one's life, the permutation and combinations of these factors would be different. For example, some people may be reading good literature but eating tamasic food. For a guaranteed total transformation, we have to make all the 10 factors sattvic. Life will have no change. Life will have to change. This transformation will be total, abiding, and permanent. It will become a blessing to the individual. That individual will in turn be a blessing to the world. The world has continued because of the presence of such completely sattvic people who were, are, and will be there. They may have become famous or remained unknown, but it is because of their blessings that the world exists. The mere thought of such a transformation is so pleasing. To make this happen, we have to invoke God's grace, the blessings of our gurus, and good wishes of our elders, and love of all. Armed with this, if we work, we can make this goal of transformation a reality.